a lot of worms. Hey everyone, it's Nora here from Nora's Ark. It is April in Wisconsin, so we have spring fever. Got the Karax out, and we're digging in the garden. So we do a lot of experiments in the garden, and sometimes they don't work out. We had left these beets in the ground just because we didn't have time to get to them last fall, and we left them in the ground all winter, and we thought maybe we could dig them up now and eat them, but a lot of them were ruined because the tops were really soggy. Kind of get closer so you can see. This one's not too bad, but you can see my fingers going in there. This bottom part is still probably good, but we just don't have that big of a harvest to really be able to use them. So that was an experiment that didn't work out, but we had a few that did. This spinach, that was planted in the winter, and you can see it's coming back really nicely right now. So that's awesome. We also have our lavender here, and she's coming back really nicely. Something else I wanted to point out over here is that we have some perennial herbs that come back. We have thyme over there, we have oregano over here, and we have sage. These ones aren't very green or plush right now, but we also have the same herbs over in our greenhouse, so I'll show you that in a minute because those look way better. Let's move on to our next bed that we have, and that is our garlic bed. We planted all of this garlic. It was about 200 heads of garlic back in October, and I think there's only like one or two that didn't pop up, so we've had a great success rate. And I'll be honest with you though, it did not look this good last week. Last week we still had all of our pine needles on there. We used pine needles as mulch for it over the winter, and when we took those off, there was some cloves that were literally like popping out of the ground. And we did some research on it and found out that it was because of the thawing cycle. So we had a really strange winter. There was a lot of snow, but then it would get really warm. So there was a lot of thawing and unthawing happening, and the dirt got down really low, and then the garlic kind of like pushed itself out. So what we did is we added some bags of raised bed soil to it, and so now it's looking really good and everything's back covered up. We kind of had to like hill up our garlic in a way. But yeah, these are looking awesome. They're a really good size for this time of the year, and the fact that pretty much all of them are sprouted is great. Now let's go look at the greenhouse that I was talking about that has our herbs in it. So this is our little greenhouse. It's just a, I don't know, kind of metal frame. I think it's more plastic or like PVC. And then we have this plastic on top of it. We had this on here for the entire winter. And as you can see, this has the same herbs that we had over there. We have oregano, we have thyme, and we have sage here, but this has done so much better. And the fact that we're able to pick this now, it looks really plush and it looks really healthy. And the fact that the sage even did survive is awesome. We actually even just made a bread yesterday with our herbs in it. So that was really cool to be able to do that this early in the season. We also have a little spinach guy and some chard in there also as well. This is our green onion bed. So these are walking onions, and they just come back every year. They like replant themselves. What'll happen is like a bulb of onions will be at the top of this, and then it falls over, and then it just replants itself. So you can see these are doing really well. We'll probably be able to start eating those soon. And we do actually have some oregano underneath here as well that's coming back. But as you can see, it's just not as plush as the stuff that we had protected under the greenhouse, which makes sense because we're in Wisconsin. This is our strawberry bed. And you can see that the strawberries have left the bed and they're also around them. But we'll expect those to start coming back in about a month or two, so they'll get a lot bigger and eventually have some strawberries on them. And then one other thing that I wanted to show you guys was we have some onions that we're growing in our greenhouse here. We just started these from seed right in the greenhouse, and this is going pretty well. We need to water these, but we'll do that next. And then these are some leeks that we have, and those are doing really well too. Just started these from seed and put them in our greenhouse. And also, this is cool. We have some kale that's coming back. That was just a plant that survived the winter, so I guess kale can be a perennial if you put it in a greenhouse in Wisconsin. So that's awesome. And then over in this greenhouse, we started some greens about 2-ish weeks ago. And so we have arugula, lettuce, bok choy, mabuna, and mizuna, which are just 2 types of greens. And then we have some spinach. And you'll notice that they're planted really close together, and you might be thinking, why would you do that? The reason is because we'll thin these and then we'll be able to eat them. So like once they get to like 2 inches, we'll thin them some more and we'll just be able to like throw that in stuff that we actually just want to eat. So that's what's cool about it. You can just plant a bunch and then thin it and eat it as you thin it. So that's why we did that. But we also then, like a week later than we started those, we did that here as well. And we have the same seeds planted, so they're just not sprouting up yet. But in this side, we did it with the correct spacing. So we did them about like 4 to 6 inches apart. So we'll have full-size plants on this side of the greenhouse. All in all though, everything's looking really nice for it being April. It's a beautiful day out today, so we're just excited to be outside. And like I said, we have spring fever, want to get piddling around in the garden. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna water these guys, and then we're just gonna walk around and see what else is popping up.